Okay, so in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to install DNA Center or Cisco Catalyst Center in EVNG. Before we start, things to remember: you need quite a large server for this. DNA Center itself uses up 32 vCPUs and 256 gigs of RAM. I would recommend you use at least a server with 80 vCPUs or 40 cores with hyperthreading and 512 gigs of memory and a minimum of 1 terabyte hard drive space, and that must be an SSD. I'm using EVNG Pro. I'm not too sure if this will work on the community version, but this is a EVNG Pro installation that is bare metal, meaning that there is no VMware involved. EVNG is installed right on top of the hardware. With that out of the way, I'm going to just create my DNA Center directory. I'm going to be using the latest Catalyst Center image, or the OVA, which you can download from Cisco Software Center. And I'm going to create my folder quick. Now what I want to do is I want to upload my image. So as you can see, I have already started the upload process of my OVA. I'm just going to pause the video until it is completed. Okay, so it looks like the upload is completed. As you can see, it's just about 40 gigabytes. Next, what we want to do is to extract the OVA using the tar command. I'm just going to paste this in. Again, this is going to take a while for it to completely extract. I'm just going to pause the video again. So once the extraction has been completed, you will want to remove all the necessary files. And then this is all the files that is needed. Next up, what we want to do is to convert them to qemu format. So I'm just going to paste this command in. So what this command will do, it has the C switch that will compress the image so that it will be basically the same size as what the original is. This is the output format, which is VMDK, and this is very important. You have to use the serial ATA naming convention for EVNG so that it detects the drive as serial ATA in your node. And I'm also going to use the P switch, which will basically give me the progress status. As you can see, this is my progress at the moment. Now the first and the third image will take won't take as much time as your second disk, because your second disk is about 37 gigs, and that takes quite a while. That is one down, two to go. Just going to start the process for the second disk. Okay, once that's started, I'm just going to pause the video again. Okay, so once all three disk images has been converted, I'm just going to remove the ones that is not needed. Okay, so the next step would be to create a node template. I've already created one in my vng instance. I will leave the configuration in the description below the video, but just to show you, this is my node template. You'll see it's 32 CPUs, 256 gigs of RAM, 2 Ethernet ports, and this is very important. The version must be 5.2.0, and then the qemu NIC must be virtio-net-pci. If you're going to try to use any other virtual network interface like VMXNet 3, it's not going to work. You will have no connectivity to your dnac instance, and you will have to restart the whole installation. Okay, so once that has been completed, what you want to do is just to configure the permissions. And then this is my lab that I'm currently using. So I'm just going to start up my DNA Center instance. And also just to show you, there's my DNA image, 32 CPUs and 256 gigs of RAM and 2 Ethernet ports. And again, very important, virtio-net-pci as the qemu NIC. I'm maybe just going to start the process again, just to show you. Let's just wipe this. For this session, I'm just going to opt to skip IPv6 mode. Now, at this stage, what you would want to do is just to copy the disk images as it is now, in case you want to perform a clean installation in the future. But what you can also do is to complete the installation and save those images, so that you don't have to go through the whole setup process, which takes a lot of time. So there is a bit of a delay once you press enter. It is basically the same as I remember from the VMware installations that I've done. I'm just going to select create MKS. Again, there is a bit of a delay once you press the enter key. In this option, or at this stage, I'm not going to use the pre-manufactured cluster. Instead, I'm going to start the configuration of MKS in advanced mode. Just going to click on select proceed. I'm going to keep it in IPv4 mode. Next, I'm going to skip VLAN mode. And then for my enterprise network, if I look at my topology, the host IP is 10.0.10.11. Subnet mask. At this stage, this is where you have to make a design decision. You can either, or you can have only one default gateway IP address on either your enterprise network or your management network. In my case, I'm just going to add static IP addresses for my enterprise network. This makes it basically easier for my management network to connect out to the internet and get updates, and also to install your various DNA center applications. So I'm going to use a static route. Just a quick note on cluster links. When you want to change the IP address using the maglev config update command, if you want to use this image in another lab maybe, I would rather use the cluster link on the management network. The management network can always stay the same, but your enterprise network might change. The reason for that is you won't be able to change your IP address on a cluster link. So that is why I would rather use the management network for my cluster link. You have to have at least one cluster link for the setup to complete. I'm not going to use the intra-cluster link. And then for my management network, it's 203.0.103.11. And select this interface for my cluster link. You're not going to basically set up as cluster link, but it does require you to set a cluster link on either of the interfaces. DNS server, I'm going to use Quad 9. And now it's going to validate my network settings. I think I may have inserted the incorrect gateway address for my static route. So it's going to 10 to 1 bomb out. So it have indeed bombed out. I'm just going to fix that quick. Back. That should be 2. Okay, so the network validation completed successfully. I'm not going to use a cluster virtual IP address. I'm going to enter my password. NTP server. I'm just going to use Cloudflare. Now it's just going to validate my NTP server. I'm going to leave the container subnet as default. Now the configuration wizard is going to appear. I'm just going to press proceed. At this stage, this is where the real installation is going to come in. Once this process starts, um, it's going to take up to 3 hours, maybe a bit more. So you will have to be patient. Um, if maybe you have made a change or use any other configuration than what I've shown you here, you might see that the installation will start, and then after a while your server will basically crash or it will freeze. So just keep in mind, or just keep a lookout for that. I'm going to show you how to look for if you see your server have either crashed or it has frozen. I'm just going to let the installation go on for a little while, and then I will pause the video. So as you can see, the server have restarted, and now it's starting the post-install operations. So at this stage I can show you how to look for, or what to look for, if your server has, or your installation has frozen. This blinking LED will basically freeze. Then you know you have a failed installation, so just keep a lookout for that. But if you follow the instructions, you should not have any issues. Also at this stage, now it is just a waiting game. I'm just going to pause the video now, and well, I will see you in 3 hours.